Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevate Your Business. I'm Ed Jurecki, and I'm excited to take you on a journey through today's episode. Our goal? To inspire and empower you as you navigate your path to business success. Join us as we explore valuable insights and strategies that can elevate your entrepreneurial journey. Today, we have an exceptional guest with over 25 years of leadership experience in B2B and B2G business development, Rusty Stapp. The sales veteran has mastered the art of navigating complex long-term sales cycles ranging from 6 to 24 months. With expertise in streamlining channel models and organizing sales processes, our guest has consistently driven significant growth across various industries, specializing in providing strategic insights, implementing impactful tactics, and managing the complexities of multiple decision makers in the buying cycle. Join us as we dive into the world of high-stakes B2B and B2G sales with this accomplished sales leader. Let's welcome Rusty Stapp to the show. Rusty, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ed. How about yourself today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate
It's my pleasure.
So to start with, would you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself and your business?
Yeah. So I'm a fractional sales leader. I go in and help companies that have long sales cycles, things that take 6 months, a year, 2 years to close deals. And I provide that leadership to help them kind of navigate these marathons. The long marathons can be costly if you don't have focus, if you don't have direction. They're expensive to do. So running a sprint's different from a marathon. And so it's really about the tactics, the strategies, running that marathon and how to go do that successfully to not just grow a business top line, but make it a profitable business.
Right. That makes sense. And so to start with, how do you define success today?
Well, it goes to that profit piece. How do you do things efficiently? Rarely do any of us work for one of these startup companies where VCs are throwing gobs of money at you and you can burn through cash. And so I look at not just growing the top line, but it's how efficiently do we do that? Do we do that consistently successful so that the company is not wasting effort, wasting cycles, being thrashed internally and externally? So it's really about that focus and efficiency. How do we optimize that for the go-to-market so that the company is successful? You're using your resources in its best way, and you're consistently growing revenue and capturing the market share that makes sense for your company.
Out of curiosity, how does the relationship play into a marathon cycle that's different than from a short-term sales cycle?
Yeah, well, and that's changed over time because engagements now are much more digitally oriented. So relationships are harder to build. Even pre-COVID, that was happening. Buyers typically want to touch you 4 to 6 times digitally, a podcast, a white paper, a blog post. They want to touch you, start getting a feel for you, understanding you before the human interaction ever comes in. COVID, I think, has changed that even more. And there's a lot of distant engagement before a potential customer does want to touch a human. For good and bad, consumer behaviors drive business behaviors. And we've all gotten used in our consumer world of going to Amazon Prime or somewhere else and making a decision on our own to consume something and purchase it. That translates into the business world. And if you ask potential buyers, and Gartner put out a study on this, they would prefer to do things completely without any interaction to the company. Now, that's true for about 65% of buyers. You go back and survey those people after they've done a completely hands-off transaction, and over 40% of them are unhappy with their purchase.
Interesting. Wow.
So yeah, it's interesting. While we've all gotten used to a very hands-off type of purchasing from our consumer behavior, it actually doesn't drive happiness and happiness in the engagement purchase again. So it's harder. I'm going a long ways around to answering your question, but it's harder to build that human interaction and trust into it. And as a go-to-market team, we have to think now more about how we're servicing our customer. You can't come in and immediately go into sell mode. I mean, that's not going to work. The buyer is a long ways down their buying journey. You have to be working to make sure they're reaching their goals. Do they need clarification? What help do they need? You've got to be very much in a service mentality to be a good vendor and a good potential supplier to them.
I can imagine that a lot of that is developing really close relationships with those clients.
Yeah, and it's truly understanding what their motivation is and why they're trying to do something. All my career has been in tech, and I think too often we get caught up in the tech thing of what we're doing. And at the end of the day, people make decisions based on human needs. I'm a product manager. I've got a goal of growing my business line because I want to be VP of product or something. You know, what you've got to understand is how are you going to make your customers successful at the end of the day? And then I think if you approach it that way, you then become a partner with them to help them along that path. And I think that's the goal for a successful organization these days.
And so going from the way things were done, but changing prior to COVID to today, what are one or two of the key challenges and the lessons learned to pass along?
Yeah, well, and I think the key challenge is you have to be producing content. And so I don't care if you're in the industrial space selling industrial cleaning equipment for factories. Again, your customer is going to touch you. They're going to go to your website. They're going to look for white papers. They're going to look for things. You have to be producing things for them to consume. And it's not being sales oriented. It's about being informative. It's about how you solve the problem and things like that. Those are table stakes now. I mean, I go back to early in my sales career. I used to ask marketing for the one-page slick, make the booth at the trade show look good, and I'll talk to you later. That's no longer true. Right now, you have to have a plethora of content across multi-consumption modes to engage that customer, to bring them along so that they're getting the information that they need.
And of course, then we talk about innovation and all this. And when you talk about that steady content and stuff like that, you've got LinkedIn, Alignable, and all these other different platforms, networking groups, et cetera. How do you best leverage innovation and technology to help drive success through these modern times?
Yeah, and it's changing faster than I think it ever has been. I think AI is going to change this for us. I think where Google SEO and search up to now has been an important component of that. And you wanted to rank high in your vertical, you wanted to rank high in your SEO. So just people go to Google and say, I need cleaning equipment that gets rid of this chemical, blah, blah. You show up in Google search. Well, people are already starting to use AI to form decisions around that. And I don't think we all know. We're still learning. And I would encourage anybody to be trying to find a way to keep the pulse on this and how AI search, and I'm probably not using that term completely correct, but AI search and information is going to impact how a potential buyer finds them. Because I think that's the new SEO going forward. In some industries, yeah, it is. I liken it to the .com era when we all went from having to build a website for the first time. And that transition happened over years for all of us to be very important. I think this AI thing is going to be so much faster. So I would encourage any business owner, any entrepreneur not living in AI, find a way, find a partner, find a forum, find something to keep the pulse on it and how it's going to impact your business. And you don't have to go dive head into it right now, unless you're in some bleeding edge technology.
But start playing with it. Find a chatbot that's reliable. Make sure it's a modern GPT-4, modern data, because you can get some of those threes out there that are looking 2 or 3 year old data, and it doesn't help much. But yes, at least start with a chatbot, asking it questions, and the evolution of it will just skyrocket from there because you'll start to, it's so much faster and easier than doing a general website search as we've done in the past.
Absolutely. And then The key will be then, how's it going to impact your business?
Right.
How, in you offering a solution, is someone going to go into one of these prompts, ask the question, and then it comes to you. You're the source. Your is what ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever it is going. I don't know. Mr. XYZ company is where we keep pulling information from. Not my area of expertise, but I am wholly convinced that that is going to be a primary driver. And then we're all going to have to be building go-to-market strategies around that, just like we have with SEO in the past. Yeah. And how do we then service our potential customer in that realm?
That makes a lot of sense. So, final takeaway for our audience. If there's one thing that you could say, you really must consider this as part of your business and life success, what would that be?
Well, I think it's going to come back to what I just said about the AI stuff. Engage with people out there. Find people. You don't have to be the king of everything. There are so many smart people and so many people like you and I that offer not just services, but I don't know about you, but I talk to people and I don't build people. There's a lot of people out there that have lived the life, that are an expert in someone. Go out there and engage people, because there are people that can add to your knowledge base, help you look at something in a different way. I just did a post on LinkedIn about an Adam Grant saying today about re-looking at a problem. Don't be afraid to do that. And there's a lot of great people out there that can help you along.
And you can have that help them, which is what starts to build that relationship. So, wonderful opportunity. If you can, pay it forward. Help people where you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, a community gets there much faster. If you go out there and engage people, I think you can go solve a lot of your business problems, and it's not a high dollar thing. You will gain from it in all aspects.
Outstanding. Any other thoughts?
No, man. It's an exciting time in doing business right now. I think it is, and I think we're seeing a lot of fun things, all for us to go grow our businesses.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for joining us today, with a special thanks to Rusty Stapp for sharing his insights and success tactics with us. We hope you feel inspired and motivated to tackle entrepreneurial challenges with innovation and adaptability. Remember, success is personal. Define it for yourself. But always remember, embrace change, seek growth, and adapt to the ever-evolving business landscape. Thanks again to Rusty and to all of our listeners, and we'll see you next time as we continue exploring more stories from incredible entrepreneurs. Stay resilient, stay innovative, and have a wonderful day, everyone.